And a pleasant good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Coach's Corner here from the studio here on 7th Avenue in Beaver Falls. First of all, want to thank Jason Colangelo for handling the show last week with Western Beaver head coach Ron Busby. And oddly enough, his opponent this week is our guest tonight, Cortrowse, the head coach of the Beaver Bobcats. I'm Bob Barrickman, Curtis Walsh, Malik Garrett here. And we have a player of the game, CCBC player of the game from Beaver Falls, Tyler Kane's going to join us, and a couple of fine players from Cortrouse's 2-0 Beaver Bobcats, Jacob Hilton and Wyatt Ringer. Looking forward to talking to them a little bit later on in the show. First of all, Court, a belated congratulations. I haven't had a chance to formally congratulate you on behalf of all of us here at Beaver County Radio. What an opportunity. Beaver hires head coaches about as often as the Steelers.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Pat Tarquinio, 34 years. Yeah. Jeff Belt's 21. And now Cortrowse. This is your program. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's a humbling and humbling honor, and it's a blessing to be entrusted with taking that next step with the program. And I was blessed to be around Coach Tarquinio and Coach Belts, and I've learned so much from both of them. And it's kind of a weird dynamic that I'm still reaching back through all those years of knowledge and history, because I'm in contact with both of them. I just talked to Coach Tarquinio on the way over tonight, and so I'm able to go reach back and talk to those guys, and they're able to help and support and get us where we need to be as a staff and for our kids.
Well, you played under Pat Tarquinio, right, and then you coached alongside Jeff Belts for many years. What was your position prior to you taking over the head job, Court?
I've floated through the program. I've sent two of my sons through the program. So most of the time when my sons were in the program, I stayed down and coached. Back then we had a strictly 9th grade team, or I coached 7th and 8th or something. And when my sons graduated, I gravitated back up to the varsity level because my sons were gone. And I've coached, been anywhere on the defense, D-line, O-line, linebackers, tight ends, and now, like I said, I've given a chance to lead this great program. So,
well, I had the opportunity to broadcast your son's games, and Alex was a fine quarterback at Washington and Jefferson. Now, he wasn't too kind. We do Geneva College football, of course,
right.
but that's okay, though.
Yeah,
I mean, Alex is now helping you on your staff now.
Yeah, right. So he came on as a volunteer assistant. And, I'm also, we brought a couple other younger guys on that are a little bit closer to the college game, and guys that we think that are high caliber, high character guys. My son came on, and then Rashad Allen, who played for us a few years ago, came on, and then Eric Blinn came on, who was a receiver at Western, and he played out of Bethany. So far, I've been very pleased with those guys, and just how they've fit in with our group and how they've been interacting with our kids, and their football knowledge is off the charts. So, how
does Pat Tarquinio fit in? I mean, he's been around seemingly forever, but he's always willing to lend a hand and his expertise. What's Pat? What's his role with the program?
I mean, whatever he wants. I mean, Coach, it's amazing what he still sees and understands, and how he looks at things. It's like he can look at a play and look at certain things and say, hey, maybe if we do this way and that way. But the biggest thing is he's there for a lot of moral support and bouncing things off of him. And I'm talking to him a couple times a week. Like I said, I just talked to him on the way over here tonight, and it's just I always tell Coach, it's your program, we're just renting it. So, and he gets a kick out of that, but, it's great to have him around. It's great to have that knowledge, and and I want our kids to understand too, you don't know where you're going unless you know where you've been. Our kids have to understand, the men that have went before us that either played or coached there, and that's now it's their turn. And it's, the guys that I'm coaching with's turn to stand up and do those things. So,
well, For the record, Pat Tarquinio won 3 WPIL championships at Beaver and remains the all-time winningest coach at one school, being Beaver. Now, Joe Hamilton, the all-time winningest coach, was at Blackhawk, spent some time at Midland and New Brighton and even Hempfield. But at one school, though, Pat Tarquinio was an institution. Of course, the field is not named in his honor because he's a nice guy. Granted, he's a super nice guy, but he got the name on the field because of what he has done with this program.
Right. I mean, just like we talk to our kids, there's words that you earn, like respect and honor and courage, and those are all things that Coach always translated to us as young men. And then it's like, what I always say about Coach Tarquinio is, you didn't realize how good of a coach he was until you got older and mature and you experienced some different things in life, and you realized that, like, the football stuff was the football stuff, but like you didn't realize how many great men that you can be around, that you can actually continue to grow from. And he's one of those men that no matter how old I am or how old he is, or you're still growing and still learning, he's still my coach. So I mean, it's not, I just, not only do I feel that way, but we were walking on the field last week at Hopewell, and it was like he was like a rock star going out there. I mean, people were talking, talking to him, ex-players coming up to him. So it's definitely there's a lot of fondness and a lot of love, but those are words plus respect. I mean, those are things that you earn through doing the right thing day in and day out, and that's what he translated to us.
Jeff Belts, head coach for 21 years. But you probably knew early on last year that his time was going to come when he was going to step aside, because he's been moving up in the administrative world and he got a very nice position at Moon High School. When you got word, I mean, were you thinking about applying right away? Or let me put it this way, after Jeff made the announcement that he was leaving after last year, was that on your radar right away, Coach, or did you have to think about that?
Well, there were some
bit?
other dynamics. Of course, my family's always comes first. I have my family, my football family. So I had to make sure that, between my wife Tammy and I, that this was a move that we were ready to make. And it's just kind of weird how life works out. Like then a job opportunity opened up for me at work that kind of changed my schedule, and it gave me a little bit more flexibility to do this. And it's just kind of funny how things work, and things kind of like matriculate into that time. And then once kind of those things opened up, then I was like, I've always wanted to take a chance and do this. I love our kids. I love the program. It's my hobby. I mean, that's like I love coaching. When you lose that passion, it's time to go do something else.
Right.
And I still love it. I still love getting there every day. I still love the off season. I love being around these young. It keeps me young.
Yeah.
So it was something that was on my radar. But it's just kind of funny how life works, and it ended up being something that came into my radar, and I was able to apply. And enough people believed in my vision and the way I deal with our children, and they gave me a chance. So.
We're talking with Cortrowse, the new head football coach of the Beaver Bobcats. Cort, in fact, there were a couple other interesting names that floated around for the job. Don Phillips, who was a Beaver grad, had a lot of success when he coached the old Center High School. But there was something that they saw. I guess they wanted to keep some kind of maybe continuity going. You were with the program for a long time. Do you think that was what caught the eyes of the ones who made the decision to hire you?
I always, I even tell our kids, I worry about things I can control. And I am who I am, and I've been my personality, the way I look at things, my vision, my goals, my aspirations, and it's like those are things I attack on a daily basis. And if sometimes that lines up with other people's visions too, that's fine. If not, that's just who I am. I worry about things I can control, and the people that make those decisions, they make their decision. And sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. But it's it's one of the things we try and teach our kids. You learn more from your failures, or times you're disappointed. So, it just for some reason it worked out that way, and like I said, I'm blessed and I'm humbled to get a chance to go do it. So,
Court, even though you've mentioned before how much you've borrowed from Pat Tarquinio and Jeff Belts, but you want to put your own staple on the program. We're going to have your game this Saturday afternoon at Western Beaver, kickoff time at 12:30, airtime at noon, with Mike Azadian and Jim Equals Jr. will be calling the game from industry. Coach, like if I went to see Beaver, and I'm going to be at the Geneva game at St. Vincent, but if I was to see Beaver play, do I see basically a continuation of what Jeff Belts and his program was doing, or have you put a couple of your own wrinkles in the program?
Well, the defensive side, it's our second year running like a 4-3, and we've made some changes there. R.J. Cook has taken over our defense this year. He was a player of ours, played at Robert Morrison. We've moved him up and gave him that responsibility, and he's done an amazing job with that. So we've kind of we're second year growing in that defense, and then R.J.'s kind of putting his stamp on it. Been very blessed to have Ryan Mayo, who is a head coach at Shenango, longtime coach in the Valley. He's our offensive coordinator. So not only is it the offensive coordinator, but I rely on him heavily just because of the experience and the things that he's seen and done before as a head coach. So we're moving in our own way, and we're doing some things differently. We're relying some more on just the running the ball, being a little bit more physical up front, those kind of things. So.
Well, coaches have to face adversity, but I don't think you anticipated the adversity to come in the shape of COVID. Here we go last year where the WPIL had canceled 3 games off of everybody's schedule, and we were just praying that we would get through the season, which we did, or at least I had the pleasure of broadcasting the games through the end of the season, and the players got to play and the coaches got to coach. This year, things were quote unquote maybe going back to normal. Not so in your case. You had some COVID cases. You had to postpone your game against Central Valley. You come back, though, still shorthanded, and you played Hopewell. And I understand that there's been a little bit of an outbreak in COVID in the school. Tell us what the situation is, Coach, and are things improving as we speak?
Yeah, well, as of right now, so there's always a lesson to learn from it too. And it's like we were going into our Central Valley week. We practiced Monday, and by Wednesday we didn't have a team, and then we didn't have a game. So it's like these young men have to realize they only get to do this for so many days. There's so many limited opportunities, and it's easy to say that looking back as a guy that's been around a little bit. So the lesson is to our young guys, you got to enjoy and grasp every day that's a blessing to be there, and things could just be taken away just like that. So even though we lost the game, if our kids can learn from that and come back in more sharp, more focused, hey, this is what it takes. We don't want to ever give away a practice or give away a game or those kind of things. Things are getting better. We ended up playing last week against Hopewell with 5 or 6 of our starters out. And right at the end of practice today, I did get a message that our last starter, or even kid on the team is coming back. But he just happens to be a starter too. So tomorrow will be our first time with a full roster of players to practice. So things are improving. The thing is, no matter where we were, like we were going into the Hopewell week that Tuesday, we had 22 kids at practice. The kids never wavered. They never said, "Well, poor me." They held their head up. They got their legs back under them, and I'm really proud of their how they rebounded and came back, and how their focus and their attention to detail is we were a little bit sloppy at the beginning of the game against Hopewell, and we just talked about doing the little things right, things that you're taught, and the bigger things will take care of themselves. So I kind of like where we're going right now, and I just hope and pray that these young men get a chance to continue to enjoy the Friday nights, because it's a special experience, and I just hope our kids continue to get that chance.
The one team you did not play because of the COVID, Central Valley. They win the state championship last year. They're still very loaded this year. You beat 2 teams, and it's good. You're 2-0. Quaker Valley and Hopewell. In all fairness, we can't confuse them with the Central Valley. Would that have been a test that you would have welcomed to see where your ball club would have been had that game have come off?
No doubt. I mean, like to be the best, you got to beat the best. You got to go play the best. And Coach Lyons and his staff and his program is, it's where we're trying to get to. So of course we want to go. We want our kids to say, this is what we need to do, in game, in off season, and the type of things we need to do as a program. But we want to take on those challenges. When you take on the challenges, you're always going to get sharper. You're going to get better. I mean, the guys that really want to do it, they're going to learn something from it. So of course, we would love to have taken that challenge on, and we'll let the chips fall where they may. It's we have a really tough conference schedule coming up. So I mean, those challenges are definitely week in and week out. So. We're going to talk to the kids about just making sure that they're focused, and we're never going to back down from a challenge, and we're going to make sure that our kids are prepared, our kids are mentally focused, and our kids are in the right frame of mind to go. So.
Before we take our first break, you play Western Beaver this Saturday afternoon game, and then you have homecoming Saturday night. And we were talking before the show, you kind of welcome these Saturday games because it gives your team a little bit more time to get healthy again, being that you've had to deal with the COVID situation. Now, last year, Court, hard to believe, Western Beaver football goes back to 1966, and Beaver goes back toward the beginning of the 20th century. But last year was the first time that these two neighboring school districts ever played in football, and you played them on Saturday,
right.
And Western Beaver came out of there with a win.
Yeah.
I'm sure your kids, I know that you have to keep things in perspective, but I'm sure emotionally, though, your players will say, hey, it's time to even the score.
I mean, our kids, look, we're going to attack every game with the mindset that we're going to prepare, we're going to do things. Like I tell the kids all the time, you win on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that doesn't. We're not worrying about what other people do. We're going to worry about what we can take care of, and whoever that opponent may be that week, so be it. That's who we're going to prepare for, and that's who we're going to go after, and that's who we're going to go play. That being said, we never want to lose, and especially we never want to lose at home. So that's always, it's a motivation for our kids to, hey, we're not going to lose at home, so we want to go back out there and we want to continue with what we're doing now and just get to 3-0 by the time Saturday night hits. So.
We're going to take our first time out. We're going to be talking to a couple of Cortrouse's players and our CCBC player of the game from Beaver Falls, Tyler Kane, in a few minutes. We're going to talk about some of the individuals who have helped Beaver get off to that 2-0 start, and we'll do that after this timeout. We want to thank Pizza Joe's and Beaver for supplying the refreshments again, as they do every week for the Coach's Corner. Want to thank our producers Curtis Walsh and Malik Garrett, and we'll be back with more discussion with Beaver coach Cortrowse in his first year after this timeout on Beaver County Radio, WBVP, WMBA, the new 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, and also on Facebook Live.
There's something for everybody this semester at CCBC. Whether you're leveling up a career or launching a new life, CCBC has got you covered. In fact, CCBC is straight to you. Your local library is now a CCBC classroom. Build career skills and earn college credit right in your backyard. Check out credit and non-credit classes starting in the near future. Click ccbc.edu/fall for more information. Right place, right time. CCBC is right where you need them this fall.
Did you know that the Grand Valley Inn was voted #1 best overall restaurant in the Best of the Valley Reader's Choice Awards 4 years in a row? Grand Valley Inn also has a fun family trivia night Thursday evenings at 6:30 p.m. The Grand Valley Inn is the place where you can also find the best live music under the heated tents. Call 724-843-9000 for more info or to make your reservation for the Project Band on September 11th for only a $10 coverage charge. Grand Valley Inn. Good food, good friends, and good entertainment.
When you're a superhero, you got big responsibilities. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, Jim Riggio from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. The Aquamen and Aquawomen of the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority really do look after the needs of the community, just like real superheroes. The service we provide really is super, and the dedication of our workers can only be described as heroic. We just don't always wear spandex suits and capes. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, and I'll keep the water on for you. Click bfwater.net.
When you're looking for the Valley's best eye care, look to Gazzetti Optometric Services, 212 State Avenue in Beaver. Dr. John Gazzetti has over 40 years of patient care experience, including exams, contact lens fittings, cataract, glaucoma and dry eye management, laser vision correction, and sports and sun eyewear. For your best vision, make the best decision. Call Gazzetti Optometric Services at 724-774-7559.
Being part of a credit union is like being part of a team. This is Cindy Hiladio from Friendly Federal Credit Union. Last year, we loaned out over $8 million to our members for all sorts of reasons. Friendly Federal Credit Union enables local people to do things by working together like a team. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union in Baden-Rouerl-Aquippa. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
Welcome.
There's something for everybody this semester at CCBC. Whether you're leveling up a career or launching a new life, CCBC has got you covered. In fact, CCBC is straight to you. Your local library is now a CCBC classroom. Build career skills and earn college credit right in your backyard. Check out credit and non-credit classes starting in the near future. Click ccbc.edu/fall for more information. Right place, right time. CCBC is right where you need them this fall.
And we continue with new Beaver head coach Cortrowse. We're going to be talking about some of the individuals, what we can expect from Beaver on Saturday afternoon on WNBA and Trib Live Sports Court. But first of all, what do you do on a full-time basis when you're not coaching?
Well, I mean, for 25 years, I was a steel worker down at the ATI plant in Midland. Retired out of there about 4 or 5 years ago. Now I'm a maintenance supervisor for Allegheny County at Greater Pitt. So I work steady night turns. And that's what I was talking about. It gave me the opportunity to know I'm off during the day with weekends, and it freed my schedule up a little bit. So I was able to do that. So because I was a steel worker for the majority of my life, and now I'm running maintenance teams up at the airport. So. Well,
you're able to spend a lot of time with the kids, being that you're on night term, and you could spend time in the school, and I'm sure that gives you time to get to know the players, not only on a football aspect, but of course socially and just as young men.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the two guys we're going to meet tonight, Wyatt and Jacob. I mean, I played with both their dads. So I mean, both their dads I played football with. So I mean, it's like I knew those guys even before they knew them. You know. So yeah, it's a really great dynamic. Things are kind of working out that way. Have a lot of flexibility. My children are grown, my wife and I. So there's when I say in my hobby, I don't hunt, golf, or fish. I love football. I love being around the kids. I love just their energy. I love their positivity. It's what keeps me going. It keeps me young, and I got a fire for it. And as long as if I'm not giving 100% to them, then it's time to go away. So, it's been an amazing run so far, and I just like I said, it's a dream come true, really. So.
Let's talk about some of your individuals. You mentioned Wyatt Ringer and Jacob Hilton, who we're going to be talking to in a little bit. Wyatt made a name for herself last year, and now he's just taken off. I mean, he got off to the great start against Quaker Valley, and he's the guy behind center. He's the guy who his ability to run this club, he's the straw that stirs the drink, I guess, get this attack going. Let's talk about him and some of the other players surrounding him.
Yeah, I mean, so the core group of guys we have back as seniors, they've been with us for a couple of years, and they've started. We don't have a lot of seniors, but the ones that we do have are high caliber, high quality individuals. They work hard, they practice hard. I have no doubt in my mind that 10, 15 years down the road, these guys are going to be doing the right things with their life. So that translates, because we have a lot of first-year starters coming in, and that helps a lot when you have guys of that high moral character that are selfless, and they're doing the right things in practice, and they're doing things and practicing it hard, and they're helping our younger guys get their feet up underneath them. Because a lot of these guys, I mean, they literally only have 8 quarters of varsity football. I think they have an amazing upside, but that takes time. It's just like experience. You can't rush it. You can't become wise overnight. You can't rush experience. These guys have to go through the process. And having these guys, like guys like Wyatt and Jacob, guys like Nick Oliver, Nick Collins, these guys have been with us. So they played a lot of snaps for us. And just like last week, we had guys out and Nick Oliver, these guys are stepping into positions they've never played really, and they're just doing it. They're selfless, and they're doing it, and it's about us. It's about our group, and it's about our group moving forward and just getting over that challenge of the day. And that's what they don't realize is that, that pushes down through the grades and it pushes down to our younger guys when they see our older guys being selfless and, coming out and working hard and getting in the weight room. And we were running sprints in the weight room today, and the guys, they didn't let up. I mean, so our younger guys, if they see that, that's the way they'll mature too. So.
Now, what would you say? I know you're only 2 games in. What would you say would be something that you've been impressed with? Maybe more so than you thought at this point of the season, and what might be an area that you need to work on? Even though you're a 2-0 football team, I'm sure, like any coach, you're going to say, hey, we could get better.
Well, I mean, we came in this year with a little bit different just because of the dynamics of everything happening with the hire. And so we asked these kids to do a lot more in the early summer. We got our kids into Damon's this offseason in the summer to train. So we're asking these guys to train 3 days a week there and then get in with us at night. We changed practices from morning to night. We changed a lot of things structurally, but the biggest thing that I found was, early on you could just see how much these guys cared about each other and how much these guys were working for each other, and just the teamwork. I mean, that was the thing that just really caught my eye going through the summer, and how much these guys work together and we're doing the right things for each other. I mean, as far as every day, you could look at anything and just you can always get better, and it's like, if once you start settling, then it's time to go do something else. So, every day, but inherently, I love the mindset. The mindset's something that's created. Plays we can put down on paper, and it's the mindset of the people that are running those plays, and how their toughness and their dedication, not just to each other, but to doing things at a high level. And that's what I'm starting to see is our kids coming in and doing those things and being selfless and being, like we talk about, the little thing, being on time, going all out, not taking plays off, and you can see it So, we just worry about what we can do today. I tell the kids all the time, yesterday's gone. Who knows what tomorrow is? All we can control is our energy right now to get better. So, we have this limited time to get better. Let's take advantage of it.
Well, you won last week. What was it, 46-9 over Hopewell? I know they've been banged up with injuries and the COVID situation, but still, overall, when you look at the sheer numbers, you have to be pretty impressive with what the offense and defense, both sides of the football, were able to do.
Yeah, we're growing and we're maturing through both sides, and there's definitely a lot of things that we need to clean up. But like I said, it's the fact that the guys they're not looking at they're coachable. You're able to correct them, and they're able to take the criticism, and they don't take it personal. They take it as a group. They take it like, hey, we're talking to you about getting better, not like coming down on you. As a person, we want you to be the best player and the best person you can be. So I tell these guys, when somebody really loves and cares about you, they tell you the truth. So, I'm going to tell you the truth, good or bad. So, because I care about these guys, and so do our coaches. So, when we're correcting them, it's coming from a place of love and a place of caring. So,
your opponent Saturday, Western Beaver, they come off a pretty impressive 31-13 win over Riverside in 2A. And now you're going to be meeting a first-year head coach. And Western Beaver's been playing pretty well. They lost in overtime to New Brighton, and then they beat Freedom on the road, and then they beat last week. They beat Riverside in Industry. What do you expect for Western Beaver? What are you going to have to do to push your record to 3-0?
You just by looking at them on tape, you can tell the kids compete. They have some really dynamic athletes and kids that can get the ball in space and do some damage. So so our thing is we just got to make sure we do our things, play sound, eliminate our mistakes, the things that we can control. you know, like things are going to happen in the course of the game through ebb and flow. I mean, but you know, that's where the maturity and the leadership comes in. So when you get knocked down or get punched and knocked back, like it doesn't destroy your confidence. I mean, those things are going to happen. So we're going to just make sure that our kids are prepared, our kids understand what they need to do, and we're going to make sure we eliminate our mistakes. And you know, we're going to try and contain some of those dynamic athletes and limit their exposure to yards and scores. So.
Should be a good one on WNBA on Saturday. Beaver at Western Beaver, airtime at noon, 12:30 to kickoff. And we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk to our CCBC player of the game for Beaver Falls when they played against big rival Aliquippa a couple weeks ago. We're going to take this short timeout on Beaver County Radio, Facebook Live. Back with Tyler Kane after this. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning in Aliquippa has been in business for nearly 60 years. Now that's experience you can count on. When you call McGee Heating and Air Conditioning at 724-375-7112, they'll answer your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sue Curlin and her winning team service most brands, and McGee Heating and Air Conditioning is locally owned and operated. As always, they wish their best to our local teams. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, Main Street, Aliquippa.
The Express Lane would like to remind everyone that a happy car is a healthy car. No one wants to be stranded on the side of the road. That's why your vehicle's routine maintenance is so important. The Express Lane offers great specials that saves you money. Hurry in for the Super Oil Change Special. Includes oil change, rotation, alignment check, multi-point inspection, and car wash. The Express Lane, oil, tires, and service center. Located next to the Beaver Valley Auto Mall.
And returning to Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live, and our next guest, I don't think he had too much trouble finding where our studio is on 7th Avenue, Beaver Falls, one of the stars of the Beaver Falls Fighting Tigers, and our CCBC player of the game in their game against Aliquippa a couple weeks ago in Tyler Kane. First of all, Tyler, who did you bring down here to the studio with you tonight?
My mom.
Okay, is she your biggest fan?
Yeah, she be screaming all the time.
Oh, screaming all the time? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess she's had a lot to get excited about now that you're in your senior year, and especially last year. We'll get to the Aliquippa game in your season this year, but I like your warm-up outfit and the symbolic of you winning the WPIL championship last year. Boy, I'll tell you, I wish every kid had that opportunity. I'm sure that there are so many who would love that opportunity. You got to realize that you got to play Stowe Rocks in the WPIL championship game. Tell us about how much that meant to you, your team, and the school for doing that feat.
I mean, it means a lot. I would say, I mean, for anyone, for any high school kid, they could never have that opportunity. And I'm grateful for having that opportunity. And for the school, I mean, we have probably a couple WPIL championships, and it's nice to bring another one back. And we hopefully will get one back this year. But, yeah, I mean, the team, we just had a bunch of leadership. Honestly, that leadership got us to where we got to. And, you know, we lost in the semi-state finals, but you know,
Tough
happened.
one
Yeah.
to Wilmington. I know. We got to go to Hershey, but we wanted to have a twofold reason to go. But that was a tough game. And Wilmington's a very good team. But getting back to the WPIL championship, you played at North Hills. Normally, if it wasn't a COVID type of year, you probably might have had a chance to play at Heinz Field. And we all know it's the longtime home of the Steelers and the Pitt Panthers. To you, was it a kind of maybe a minor disappointment, or were you just happy to compete for a title?
I mean, yeah, you could say it's a minor disappointment. It's always nice to go play up in Pittsburgh in that big old stadium. But I mean, you go there, you play the game, you win, stuff like that.
Tyler, let's talk about this season. Now, last year you had that great team. That running game was ferocious. Josh Huff, though, he's at Syracuse. He's wearing orange, but Syracuse orange. And then you had Shalik Livingston, who was a good compliment for him in the backfield. Did you kind of know, I mean, with those kind of losses, what was your mindset coming into the season? Did you know that you figured, okay, you got to step up? Some of the younger guys like Trey Singleton, Jaron Brickner needs to take more of a leadership role. How did you visualize this coming into the season?
Just a lot of change. Our defensive side of the ball, we stay the same because we got a lot of skill, but offensively, the whole scheme changed. And the thing about it is, our skill is probably really good. I would say that we probably have the most top skill and probably the Whippeal right now. And the thing about it is, going from a running team to a passing team is pretty hard, but I think we fought that adversity really good.
Now, you're basically tight end. Would that be your main position on offense?
Yeah, tight end.
And defense, you're Mr. Everything, I know. But linebacker, would that be your natural position?
Yeah, linebacker, yeah.
Okay. Tyler, you start off the season against Blackhawk. They're a 4A team. You're a 2A team. First half was a struggle, but you guys hung in there, though. You didn't pout. You didn't throw in the towel, and you were competitive in the second half against Blackhawk. And then Aliquippa the following week, you guys did some good things. But Aliquippa, and I know their enrollment doesn't say 4A, but they're playing in a 4A conference, though. So you had a couple tough games out of the gate, especially trying to mold a team that had some serious graduation losses.
Mm-hmm. The thing about it is, I would say that we could have won both of them games. We know that it's 4A against 2A, but our team, our skill, our line, I feel like we should have won those games easy. Okay,
now last week you got hit, unfortunately, not because of what your team, but the COVID situation. Your game was wiped out against Our Lady of Sacred Heart, a pretty good 1A school. So you got to be itching. Now you have your conference game at Laurel, a team that's always been in the hunt. Tell us about your opponent on Friday night. What are you going to have to do to come out on top in conference play?
We just got to contain number 6 and number 2. Those are their 2-star players. We had 2 weeks to prepare, and I think we'll get the job done on Friday.
Okay. Any colleges that you're looking at? Any being recruited at all?
Small Division I's. I think the biggest ones I have is probably Syracuse and Harvard.
Oh,
that's not
too bad.
Been looking at, yeah. Other than that, it's just been like max schools. But I mean, you got to take what you get, and hopefully one of them shoot the gun, and I get more offers down the road.
Is Josh Huff making a sales pitch for you, Tyler, at Syracuse?
Yeah, he called me a couple of times talking to them about me, and I seen a linebacker coach when I went to the Penn State camp. We was talking there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? No matter what happens, and you mentioned Harvard, so apparently you're getting it done in the classroom too. What's your grade average? You mind sharing that?
3.7, 3.8.
That's pretty good. So
Thank you.
Tyler, I mean, you're doing it, and not only on the field but in the classroom, and that's very important. I'm sure that Coach Nick Nardone is proud of you. I mean, you're the table setter now. Last year you might have said Josh Huff was the guy you leaned toward, but now you've taken on that leadership role, and I think your best football is ahead of you. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, even though that we lost 2 games, they were non-conference games, so I mean, they really don't mean nothing. Now it comes in a conference game where we got to win every single game so we could go and win another Whippeal championship.
Well, good luck, and I guess you would get to play, if you got that far, you would get to play at Heinz Field.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a dream. I know that's a lot of football between now and then. But Tyler, we want to congratulate you for being our CCBC Player of the Game in your game against Aliquippa.
Thank you.
And I know we're gonna catch up with you, and I know you have some good games left. I know you got that battle for the Little Brown Jug coming up in a couple weeks, but you can't look ahead, though. You know Laurel's a good club. Best of luck to you in the rest of the season, and hopefully things work out for you in your recruiting.
Thank you.
All right, Tyler, thanks a lot.
Nice meeting you.
Tyler Kane, one of the stars of the Beaver Falls Fighting Tigers. We're going to take this time out. We're going to scoot another chair in because we have a couple Beaver players we're going to talk to after this break. Again, thanks to Pizza Joe's in Beaver for supplying the refreshments. And, of course, we got a lot more, about 20 minutes of football to talk about on this Coach's Corner night from the studio in Beaver Falls here on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live.
Ambridge Italian Villa, a family tradition with the taste sensation.
It's back to school season, and that means it's time to form your list.
Okay, let's see. 3 book covers, a couple spiral-bound notebooks, a new tablet, a couple rulers, and oh yeah, a gyro, chicken salad, and a pulled pork sandwich.
If your back to school shopping list looks like that one, you already know how Ambridge Italian Villa can make any return to the classroom easier when it comes to mealtime. Available for dine-in, takeout, or delivery. No matter where your kids or grandkids go to school, make sure they're getting courses in Italian and Greek. Main courses, that is, from the Ambridge Italian Villa. Order lunch, dinner, or even large event catering by visiting AmbridgeItalianVilla.com or Ambridge Italian Villa on Dust Avenue for takeout or dine-in service. It's the family tradition with the taste sensation.
Ambridge Italian Villa, a family tradition with the taste sensation.
When you're a superhero, you got big responsibilities. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, Jim Riggio from the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority. The Aquamen and Aquawomen of the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority really do look after the needs of the community, just like real superheroes. The service we provide really is super, and the dedication of our workers can only be described as heroic. We just don't always wear spandex suits and capes. This is the Aquaman of Beaver County, and I'll keep the water on for you. Click bfwater.net.
McGee Heating and Air Conditioning in Aliquippa has been in business for nearly 60 years. Now that's experience you can count on. When you call McGee Heating and Air Conditioning at 724-375-7112, they'll answer your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sue Curlin and her winning team service most brands, and McGee Heating and Air Conditioning is locally owned and operated. As always, they wish their best to our local teams. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, Main Street, Aliquippa.
When you're looking for the Valley's best eye care, look to Gazzetti Optometric Services, 212 State Avenue in Beaver. Dr. John Gazzetti has over 40 years of patient care experience, including exams, contact lens fittings, cataract, glaucoma and dry eye management, laser vision correction, and sports and sun eyewear. For your best vision, make the best decision. Call Gazzetti Optometric Services at 724-774-7559.
Being part of a credit union is like being part of a team. This is Cindy Hilario from Friendly Federal Credit Union. Last year, we loaned out over $8 million to our members for all sorts of reasons. Friendly Federal Credit Union enables local people to do things by working together like a team. Visit Friendly Federal Credit Union in Baden or Aliquippa. Member NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
And we continue with the Coach's Corner. Maybe we'll have a CCBC player of the game among these two gentlemen. We haven't done a Beaver game yet, so that's why we can't introduce them as such, but that opportunity is going to come this Saturday, and then we have Beaver lined up the following week on their homecoming game against St. LaSalle. To my immediate left is Wyatt Ringer. To my far left is Jacob Hilton, two seniors and two guys who Coach Cortrowse really relies on. And Jacob, we'll start with you. Basically on offense, you're a running back, and on defense, Coach makes it sound like, hey, you're the glue to that defense. You're the running the show as a linebacker. Your role, I expect, has been expanded now that you're a senior. Talk about that.
Right. Last year, Coach Rouse took a chance with me, putting me in charge of the defense. And, a lot of people look up to me. It's just being that guy on defense. You have to be, aggressive. You have to be a leader.
Jacob, let's talk about your first couple games. Really, you haven't really been pushed much. Quaker Valley, you had things pretty much your own way. Then you didn't play against Central Valley. I know that would have been a stiff test. Hopewell, though, a big school. It's a 3A school, and but things obviously went your way. Have you been real pleased with the way that the offense and the defense, being that you're a key guy on both ends, both sides of the football, have come along thus far?
Absolutely. Every week we still got to get better. There's things that we still got to fix, and we just got to keep pushing forward. We've done a really good job. Like last week we had a couple people missing, but every week it's just a fight to keep going.
Wyatt Ringer. Wyatt, you were primarily a running back last year, but Coach now has inserted you as the quarterback, and of course you run the option. You have a lot of yardage thus far this season. First of all, changing coach. You played under Coach Belts for 2-3 years, and then the change comes. What initially was that a tough thing for a period of adjustment for you and your teammates with a new coach and maybe a new coaching staff in many respects coming in?
Well, we kind of knew at the beginning of the year that the time was going to come here in the near future. Coach Bells let us know before really everybody else. So we kind of knew someone else was going to come in, and Coach Rouse has done a great job. He's really changing the program, really getting us involved with things that coaches in the past really haven't done, and we have really a lot of respect for him and what he's done for the programs thus far. So,
what would you say in particular that any noticeable changes from the past to the present?
Yeah, I just think that everyone is just a teamwork, and everyone has on the same page. Everyone is playing for each other, not selfishly, and I think really coming together as a team for the first time in a few years, so it's been really good.
Jacob, would you go along with that line of thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. Just the culture, we're changing the culture.
Right.
It's more of being a group, as Coach Rouse said, being selfless, just taking that next step. We want to have a great season this year as last year. We had a rough season, but this year we're trying to change our ways.
You have Western Beaver this week, and then you have St. LaSalle, and those are both non-conference games. I know that you guys, I'm sure Coach says 1 week at a time. We want to get better from first week to second week to third week. But is it hard not to look ahead to when you play the big guys, the Aliquippas and the Blackhawks of the world? Because that's going to come down the road. But I guess these games coming up till then, it has to make you a more mature group and ready for those challenges that'll be later on.
Right, and Western Beaver is a great rivalry for us. We all know everyone on their team. Thad Gray is one of my best friends, so we're really close all together. And it's going to be good experience to play these kind of teams up until our hard conference. We play Aliquippa, which we all know about Aliquippa. Blackhawk are having a good season. We have definitely a big rivalry with that school, just in all sports in general. But we're getting really excited for these conference games coming up for sure.
Do you play other sports, the two of you?
Just this past spring, Coach Mayo asked me to run track, and it was something different, but it was my first year doing that. I've wrestled in the past, but yeah, that's about it.
Wyatt?
Yeah, I play baseball. Played basketball a while ago, but just baseball for now. And hopefully this season for baseball we're going to be really well. We're a little bit younger, but I think we have some really good studs coming up. For sure.
Have you decided what sport would be your choice if you got to the collegiate level?
Definitely football for sure. I've had a offer from Clarion of some D2 schools, and W&J showing some interest. So it's going to be an interesting road down the way.
Well, I'll tell you, if you keep playing like you have, you're going to be able to showcase your talents to these other coaches who might be looking at you down the road. But I mean, you mentioned a couple good schools, and guys, I think it's going to be, you're going to be in for a battle this week.
Sure.
Probably your toughest game of the season.
For sure.
I mean, Western Beaver, they're a 2-1 football team. They won last year at your place. I think you guys have to feel like, okay, we owe them something.
Right.
Would you say?
Absolutely.
All right. Guys, we want to congratulate you. You're two important cogs of Coach Rouse's first team here at Beaver, and I know you want to set the example for future Beaver teams, and want to wish you the best and good luck on Saturday in industry.
All right. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take our final timeout. We'll be back to wrap it up with Cortrowse, first-year coach of the Beaver Bobcats, when we continue on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live.
There's something for everybody this semester at CCBC. Whether you're leveling up a career or launching a new life, CCBC has got you covered. In fact, CCBC is straight to you. Your local library is now a CCBC classroom. Build career skills and earn college credit right in your backyard. Check out credit and non-credit classes starting in the near future. Click ccbc.edu/fall for more information. Right place, right time. CCBC is right where you need them this fall.
Ambridge Italian Villa, a family tradition with the taste sensation.
It's back to school season, and that means it's time to form your list.
Okay, let's see. 3 book covers, a couple spiral bound notebooks, a new tablet, a couple rulers, and oh yeah, a gyro, chicken salad, and a pulled pork sandwich.
If your back to school shopping list looks like that one, you already know how Ambridge Italian Villa can make any return to the classroom easier when it comes to mealtime. Available for dine-in, takeout, or delivery. No matter where your kids or grandkids go to school, make sure they're getting courses in Italian and Greek. Main courses, that is, from the Ambridge Italian Villa. Order lunch, dinner, or even large event catering by visiting AmbridgeItalianVilla.com or Ambridge Italian Villa on Dust Avenue for takeout or dine-in service. It's the family tradition with the taste sensation.
Ambridge Italian Villa, a family tradition with the taste sensation.
Welcome to Beaver Valley Auto Mall. It's the best place to get a great deal on a really nice car. Our selection is amazing, especially right now. Search hundreds of vehicles at beavervalleycars.com. Find the one you like and schedule a test drive. Our expert staff and convenient location make the buying process easy to navigate. Every car is thoroughly inspected, and we'll keep it healthy with our first-class maintenance center. Buy here and service here. Become a Baba Beaver believer at Beaver Valley Auto Mall.
Our final segment of the Coach's Corner, being joined by Beaver new head coach Cortrowse. And Cort, a couple outstanding young men, good building blocks to build this program around. Wyatt Ringer, I've known his dad, Eric. You played football with him. Eric has been a physical therapist in the area, has had an impact in the area, and you played football with Jacob Hilton's dad. You could just tell that the tradition at Beaver being passed down, you get good guys like the Hiltons and the Ringers, and they pass the values, and we can see it coming out of the players. And you have the opportunity to coach these young men, and you have to be feeling pretty good.
Well, that's. I mean, honestly, like how many guys get to do that? I mean, and to do something that they love, and to be around, quality high-end individuals, and like you only get these guys for like a little small sliver of their life, and it's we're just trying to do is like, of course we want to win football games. I mean, we love to win. I mean, no doubt. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to impact them and make sure that when their time with us is a positive experience. It's something they can look back on with fondness, and that we're instilling in them the things that that will make them men of character, men of success. Good husbands, good fathers, those kind of things. And to say you were part of that, like even at the lower level of building that pyramid, like you were part of that building block. It's an amazing responsibility and honor, and I'm just so glad to have a chance to do it with these guys, and hopefully with a lot of guys coming up in the future. So,
Cortrowse of the Beaver Bobcats. Cort, this has had to been a dream of yours. I mean, a long-time player, long-time coach. Now you get an opportunity to lead your own program. And from the early returns, your players seem to be responding to what you and your staff are trying to get across. Now, I know winning's fun, and you're 2-0, and sooner or later, and for your sake, let's hope it's not for a while, but if you do lose a game, that's really going to show some character of the team. But right now, though, it seems like they enjoy your message, and sometimes maybe a new voice coming in can kind of rally the troops, and it seems like they're responding to what you're trying to do.
Well, I mean, you win with people. You win with relationships. So, those relationships, that's what gets you through the adversity, right? Adversity introduces you to who you really are. So, like, the biggest thing is, yeah, it's easy, and it's not easy, but it's a lot easier to get through a week when you definitely won a game. But like, we also have to prepare these guys and know that, like, if we face adversity through loss or other things that we're going to face, that that they can count on us, and that we have to count on them, and that's a give and take. That's a relationship. So
when you talk to former coach Jeff Belts, and he's doing very well in the administrative end, do you get the impression that a part of him wishes he was back out on the gridiron on Friday nights?
I mean, Jeff, look, I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for Jeff. Jeff definitely gave me an opportunity to come up through the ranks and do things, and he worked with me in my schedule and everything like that, and I have nothing but admiration and respect for Jeff, not just as a coach, but as a good friend of mine. Yeah, I mean, Jeff he's an intense competitor. I've seen him, and he loves to go at it. And he has the heart of a champion, and he loves to go at it. So no matter when you lose that big part of your life, I'm sure it's hard to just kind of like turn it off. It's not a light switch. It's a fabric of how you are as a man and how you were raised, and it never just goes away. It might just dull a little bit, but I'm sure like anytime he's come to practice a few times, or I'm sure on Friday nights, or it's got to be a little bit of twinge, and he still wants to feel those juices flowing and things. So I mean, as a competitor, those are the things that are always coursing through your veins. So,
Coach, great talking to you. Hopefully a lot of wins down the road for the Beaver Bobcats.
I appreciate you having us here tonight. It was a great time, and I'm glad my kids got the chance to introduce themselves, and so that people know who they are.
And we Also enjoyed having Wyatt Ringer, Jacob Hilton, and Beaver Falls star Tyler Kane as our guests. That'll do it for us. Boy, the hour goes by quickly. Want to thank Curtis Walsh and Malik Garrett. We'll talk to you at the ballparks on Friday night. Riverside at Freedom, 7 p.m. airtime on WBVP and 99.3 FM. And on WNBA, it'll be Montour at Hopewell, 6:30 to pregame. And on Saturday, we have Beaver football at Western Beaver at noon and Geneva football at 12:30 in Latrobe against St. Vincent. Enjoy the action, folks. We'll do it again next week. Bye, Barrickman. Good night, everybody, from Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live.